welcome once again. J76NY here, and welcome to episode number 2 of our playthrough of Burden of Command by Greentree Games. This is a first look at the full campaign. I was lucky enough to get a pre-release copy. Game does release tomorrow on Steam, so if you like what you see, tomorrow's the day. I will link to the game's Steam page down in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. Last episode, our premiere episode, we did manage to get elements of Nickel Company ashore and made an assault on a machine gun position. That assault went pretty good. We did get a major victory for the men and a minor victory for the mission. We are now catching our breath on the beach. Men stagger and collapse with relief near the broken empty machine guns. Cigarettes are lit by shaking hands. Sergeant Grant immediately shouts at them to snuff the flame. You order pickets set to warn against any counterattack while Grant supervises an inspection of salt-encrusted equipment and plenty of minor wounds. In the distance, artillery continues to thunder, both incoming and outgoing. The war continues, but right here, right now, you have won your first victory. Where the hell is Robertson anyway? Private Patterson asked between shaky drags on a smoldering cigarette. So if you're not familiar with the type of game that Burden of Command is a tactical RPG. They have, I don't know what the exact number is, but I think I heard Luke on the podcast say million plus words of dialogue in here, scripted dialogue. So the choices that you make during the story portion of it do affect how your soldiers react in battle. So it is very much a play it how you would play it yourself. I'm going to try and do that in this playthrough. The decisions that I make are going to be the decisions that I personally think I would make if I were in that situation. Although I think if I were personally in some of these situations, I would probably be in the fetal position on the ground, soaked in my own pee. But I'll try not to pee my pants here at my computer. You're about to enter a crucible, and this is one of the unique aspects of Burden of Command. Mindsets chart your development as a leader. You add additional mindsets as your perspective on how to accomplish tasks increase. Mindsets also influence gameplay both on and off the battlefield. Crucible occurs whenever traumatic events unfold and represent the internal struggles soldiers undertake in order to come to grips with the impact of war. There is no single answer to this riddle. Choose thoughtfully. Smoke drifts past and brings the scent of burnt cordite. The enemy's rough gun pit is littered with the detritus of battle, spent casings, discarded clips, and a crumpled figure in olive drab at the edge. A low moan rises as you and Sergeant Grant hurry over to the fallen soldier. A flash of distant artillery strips away the darkness to reveal an American private. Really? Splinters of his shattered rifle beside him. From the look of it, he's been here longer than your platoon. How'd he get in the machine gun pit? That's interesting. He clutches at his chest, blood seeping beneath his fingers. Oh, God! The wounded soldier wheezes out, plaintively gulping down a ragged breath. All right, so Sergeant, look after him. See what we can do. Risk my men to try and find a medic. The less I am involved with this, the better. Wow, what a dick move that would be. Dude, you're not my problem. Okay, let's see what we can do. You'll kneel beside the wounded soldier, the sand shifting beneath your knee. Sergeant Grant does the same. The wounded man's eyes peer towards you. LT? Let's apply pressure here. Place your hand atop the wound. The blood is warm and sticky as it covers your skin, slowly pumping out of Hancock's chest. The blood won't stop. Sergeant Grant shifts Hancock's bloody dog tags aside to give you a better angle. Private Hancock shudders. His clammy skin is deathly pale. So cold, he says in a whisper. He tugs out a slender book from his pocket. The page is damp with salt. How bad? Grant shakes his head. You need a chaplain or it could be worse. Lie. I'm going to lie to him. Hancock's hand falters. The book falls into the sand. Stay with us. The medic will be here soon. My God, what do I say? Hold on. For Hancock. Stay with us, boy. Hancock convulses beneath your hand. His breathing rises in gasps and falls in weak, limp coughs. Then it stops. The men watch from cover as Sergeant Grant reaches out and lifts the thin paperback from where it fell. Atop the sand, The Red Badge of Courage, a very good book about the Civil War. Grant reads softly from the tattered covers as a star shell arcs overhead and casts a pale yellow glow above. He then tries to figure out how to tuck it back into the deceased pockets without forcing the issue. My father gave me a copy before I joined up, because I wasn't the only one. A bookmark falls from the pages. A black and white photograph of a high school football team with a dozen young men looking towards the camera with conviction. Hancock is one of them. Jeez. The Kirbyville High School football team. Okay. Apparently Hancock was from Kirbyville, Texas. You did everything you could and he still died. The men are silent, reverent as they look to the sky, down at the sand, or off into the distance. They too are trying to make sense of it all. Combat fatigue plus 20, realism plus 1, and trust plus 15. Okay, poor Hancock. Grant's hands shake as he passes over one of the dog tags. The other one he returns to the body. Your fingers brush aside sand and grit as you grasp the metal square, the edges sticky with blood. The Army summary of Hancock's life lies in your hand, along with the names of his next of kin. Helen Hancock, 107 North 27th Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. Which I will actually Google and see if that's a real place. Who knows? Probably his wife. She will be getting a terrible telegram. There's a reason soldiers fight in units. Sadly, Hancock understood that lesson too late. I'm still kind of curious how he got into the bunker with the Germans. Once you have the dog tag, Sergeant Grant details several men to dig a shallow ditch in the sand just deep enough to cover Hancock. It's not a fitting final resting place, but it'll have to do for now. If I'm not careful, there will be more wasted lives. This gives me 20 plus fatigue and 2 plus realism. That's the cautious mindset acquired. I know I can't save everyone, but 10 fatigue and compassionate mindset. If Hancock had stayed with his squad, he might be alive. That would advance the current mindset that I have. He did right, but that wasn't enough. That's combat fatigue plus 10, realism plus 1. If only we'd attack together, zeal mindset acquired. Okay, so I'm getting the impression you can have more than one mindset. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to go changing my mindset right off the bat. I know that probably during combat, a lot of mindsets got changed, especially during first combat, but right now I think I am going to go with the one that advances my mindset of doctrine. Hancock tried to be a hero, a lone hero, but an army can't depend solely on individual effort, not if it wants to win the wars. Nearby, the men of the first squad crouch in the dark as artillery thunders in the distance. They too are thinking about Hancock. They too are trying to figure it all out. Hell of a thing, Sergeant Grant says softly. It hits hard, you know. And the younger guys will take it even harder. I hope I can help them. Tell me about combat fatigue. Or skip this. Tell me about combat fatigue. No one really goes untouched by their first bloody fight. In the last war, they called it shell shock and tried to figure out how to treat it so that veteran soldiers could keep fighting. From the Epic of Gilgamesh to present day, soldiers have dealt with these strains of battle in different ways. Every day, every loss will eat at them, blotting out their joys until they either fall into despair or break. Okay, stress arises from combat. Combat fatigue makes stress more likely. Combat fatigue builds up in squads because of casualties, suppression, and events. When it reaches 100, it becomes a point of stress. Combat fatigue rises from events or combat. Every time a unit takes, or to a lesser extent inflicts casualties, they gain combat fatigue. They may also gain it when they are heavily suppressed by the enemy. Combat fatigue persists from scenario to scenario, and the more it has, the greater the chance it will acquire a point of stress that will lower the effective morale of a unit. Time away from combat helps the most. Between scenarios, you may have a chance to lower their combat fatigue, but you will never eliminate it completely. A good leader can keep the men focused and on task by having a chat, giving a speech, or even dressing down a dispirited soldier. This is the usual way to reduce combat fatigue, and it works a little, but it can never fully eliminate what has been built up. Green soldiers will repeatedly gain combat fatigue, veterans less so. I will focus on what is coming. A deep voice abruptly bellows from the dark. Hold your fire, officer coming through. You turn to see Captain Lamb striding towards you, silhouetted against the dark by flashes of artillery fire. Walking before him is a wet, sand-covered, and utterly weaponless Private Roberts. The enlisted man's eyes are wide and fearful as the captain prods him forward. I believe this is one of yours, Captain Lamb asked pointedly. Yes, sir, he's Roberts. I figured I'd be writing his wife. Wow. So they give you some... I mean, you could play this out to be a complete hard ass if you wanted. Yeah, he's part of my platoon. Maybe if I do another playthrough of this, we'll try and be gung-ho as all hell and go balls to the wall on mission. I'm tempted to ask if you need him back, Captain Lamb says. All my runners went in the drink when we hit a reef, and I haven't seen one of them yet. Of course I need him. A little mud never hurts a soldier. He may have lost his weapon, but he's here. I'd rather he drove a truck. Do we shoot cowards? Okay. Little mud never hurt anybody. But he did lose his weapon. Are you sure you want to hand him another one? Lamb asked. What's his problem? Nearby, Roberts gives a little gulp that isn't missed by Lamb. Roberts, I need you to be honest with me. Did you lose that weapon or did you throw it away? Sergeant Grant cocks a skeptical glance at the bedraggled private. Nearby, Morris and Patterson lean in to listen. On the beach, a new line of Higgins boats slowly gropes its way toward shore. The place where Hancock's body lies, Roberts' friend, is just a few steps away. Roberts, Hancock just died trying to take this position. It's a trust plus 10. Roberts, you should know that Hancock died, or focus on Lamb's question. seems like it'd be kind of trying to guilt him. But you know that Hancock died would give me a +5 experience to all squads. I'm going to go with that one. Private Roberts stares at you, eyes blinking in the gray dawn of light. No, he was. He looked to Sergeant Grant. Grant tenders over a small shake of his head. Robert shoots a glance at Morris and Patterson, but there is nothing funny to be said. At last, Roberts turns back to you. Something shifts behind his eyes as he stuffs down a rising anger at the loss of his friend. I understand. Thanks for telling me. Thank you. I thought you'd be yelling at me. You seem too calm about all this. If you're too broken up inside, grief does... you seem too calm about it. I'm not calm, I'm angry, Roberts replies. Real angry, LT. The kind of angry that you only get rid of by hitting something until it breaks. The French will do fine for now. I don't want him with a rifle. You're nuts, dude. Go back to the boat. You're unlucky and clumsy, soldier. Grab a gun and fall in, Roberts. Private Roberts gives you a nod and rejoins his squad. Morris finds him a weapon and Roberts inspects it with a steady eye. Hope I don't regret that decision, boy. I get prestige +1 and loyalty +4. Lieutenant Colonel Moore approaches, kicking up sand as he goes. He heads right for Captain Lamb. Captain, I require this platoon. Cutting off Lamb's startled reply, he turns to you. Lieutenant, I know you'll be wanting to catch your breath, but I need you and your men back on your feet. You've got one of the few units on this beach that made it ashore intact, but I really didn't, dude. Must have had one hell of a coxswain, and let me tell you, I want him promoted. Okay, well, I guess maybe I should have chummed up to the coxswain then. He glances over his shoulder at the dark beach where the next wave is navigating the approach. Roberts extracts his flashlight. No doubt to examine his new rifle, but Morris halts the man before the other private can flick it on. Now, when I gave you the order to fight, you did just that, Lieutenant Colonel notes, having thankfully missed the little exchange between privates. And you got things done in a trice. I need that now. There's a group of German officers, old nags from the last war that they've put back into harness like a horse or a donkey on the Armistice Commission that bullies the French around. Secure them from the Hotel Miramar in Fedala before they can run off into the desert on us. You've got to move quick. Company A will be there to hold your hand when the French finally wake up. Understand? Salute. Bad idea. Yes, sir. That's what we've trained for. Or, yup. Yeah. I think I can do that, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Now we are going inland. Crack of wood heralds yet another boat broaching upon the reef. Lieutenant Colonel Moore motions for Lamb to follow as he stalks away, yelling and cursing at the waterlogged arrivals. Captain Lamb catches your eye. You know what to do, Captain Lamb calls out over the din. The rest of Nickel Company will be along. Then he turns and follows the Lieutenant Colonel back towards the chaos along the shore. Okay, so what can we do here? Aid to your men. Let's see. So I can increase unit XP represents not only learning battle tactics, 2 loyalty, and 2 prestige. I got plenty to spend. So I can go through and upgrade everybody, basically. What's this here? Trust earned. Helps leaders earn the trust of their men. Increase trust earned by 25 at a cost of 10 loyalty. Wow. But I can increase this 5 prestige. We got enough. All right. I'm going to go through and do this once for everybody.
It was nothing compared to once we got into combat.
Now the plan was to improvise.
On to Fedala. The shifting sand beneath your boots gives way to hard stone as you lead your men away from the beachhead. The town of Fedala is supposed to be close, but there is no sign of it. 100 yards down the beach, you spot a narrow road that slices straight through the scraggles of trees and brush. A stiff breeze drives a chill through your still damp uniform, but that wind also sends the charnel stink of the beach of blood and exhaust your way. On the side of the road, the men eagerly take a short break. Several gather around a signpost as one of the bolder men poses beneath it. A foreign sign and a foreign land. The words translate roughly as compulsory stop. Okay. The 3rd Battalion, most of which came in after the first couple waves, also struggled to get ashore. Only L Company drew the mission of landing at H hour. This company, along with reconnaissance troops, was supposed to land to the left of Fedala, push inland, secure the highway, and railroad over the Mella River and clear out an adjacent golf course of any enemy troops. By John McManus. You know, this is still better than being aboard the Bliss, Private Patterson mutters while pondering the sign. I was thinking that from the moment we hit the beach, Private Morris says. Remember back in North Carolina when we stuffed that yapping, Sergeant Grant hisses at the two of them before things get any louder. They'd be a lot less talkative if they knew the truth. I don't even know the truth. We were headed into danger. Or this is no ordinary recon mission. The platoon hustles down the road towards your objective, the town of Fedala. The desolation gives way to sprinkling of dark buildings. As the gray sky brightens, the town resolves into sharply delineated streets cultivated from the surrounding desert. There are over 2,000 Vicky soldiers in the garrison, but men don't know that. Oh boy. I can't tell them that, it'll ruin morale. Negative event will have increased impact. So if I pick this one, any negative thing will hit me twice as hard. The intel could be wrong, we have no idea what's ahead. Combat fatigue plus 10 negative events will occur. I will tell them the odds, roughly. First platoon will gain a little suppression. Negative events will have less impact. I will let them know what I know. First platoon gains some suppression. Negative events will be negated. I wonder what the difference between little suppression and some is. But I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to be honest with my men and tell them what I know. Let them know what they're getting themselves into. That and the negative events are negated. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's where I went. You gather them up and lay it all out. The suspected number of the garrison, their equipment, everything that matters to a soldier. The stares you receive tell you that some would rather not have known this, but that all are glad you are with them. You give the order. First squad hustles past a squat little building, which I'm assuming is this, a Moroccan door. Maybe not. Harsh white light spills across them as the door opens. A burly figure is silhouetted. Something large is carried over one shoulder. Private Roberts turns towards the figure. His borrowed rifle rises in the glare. Shoot. First squad gains 10 experience. Skip scene. Robert, stand down. 15 experience and 7 combat fatigue. Or this is Robert's call. 20 experience and 10 combat fatigue. Let's have him hold off before he... I mean, I can't just let him start shooting people out of nowhere. Abdallah Daoud is a fictional man based on a real person, a Moroccan butcher who interacted with soldiers of the 3rd Division immediately after the invasion. These particular images come from Iraq, courtesy of team member Robert Mathis. The butcher in the photo sadly lost his life to an explosive device. The image is only a small tribute to the departed. So this is an actual guy who's portraying a fictional man that was based on an actual guy. And he's dead. Okay. First platoon gains 15 experience and 7 combat fatigue. Roberts readily safeties his weapon. Across the way, the lone figure gives a hesitant but friendly wave despite his burden. Bonjour, Monseigneur. I am not doing a French accent when I have to speak French. I am sorry. A wary voice calls out in a thick accent. Is that French? Robert asks, no one in particular. And everyone on principle. Sounded like French. Bad French is better than no French. Resist the urge to smack him. Alright. I'll glower at him. Hello. The French-speaking figure calls out, this time in a faintly British accent. The man sets down a meaty burden upon a narrow wooden table outside the building. A boy trots around the corner with a cleaver, but the old man shoos him out of sight and then turns back to you. Welcome to my shop, soldiers. It would be very good to take your custom if you like. What are you talking about, dude? Meat this morning? Very fresh. I think he wants to feed us. It's quite an accent you have there. Can you speak a little slower? What are you selling so early? Leave him be. I have a war to fight. Where are you from? Accent. The man asks as he turns up a covered lamp to shine discreetly upon his features. His smile is a buffed white that is all the brighter against his olive skin, but there is a tension in him as worry lines gather around his eyes. I had not noticed, but then it takes 2 hands to clap. I am Abdullah Daoud, your good neighbor. The breeze shifts. The smell of blood and foulness come with it. Far worse than the beach, it is almost overwhelming. A soft buzz of flies surrounds the haunch of butchered meat. Where did you get that camel? What can you tell me about the Vicky Garrison and Fedala? Recoil at the smell. So I'm curious what meat that is, but I'd like to see if this guy knows anything about the French. Abdullah says, nearly scratches his head nervously before he remembers where his fingers have been. Oh, nice. If you mean the French, then yes, I know. Gomiers. Many. Headed to the beach. On camels. His hands idly pat the bloody meat, idly disturbing a fluster of flies. You can't help but notice that he didn't answer the question. If I wanted to buy some steaks... Do you know the Hotel Miramar? Get to the heart of the matter. But of course, everyone knows it. Lovely doors. I need to know how to get to the Hotel Miramar. Are the Germans still at the hotel? Are there any French guarding the hotel? Any armored vehicles? Press them about the garrison. Demand answers. You demand this? Abdullah replies flatly. His eyes twitch with a nervous tick. But I am a good neighbor. I do no harm to others. I don't want to shoot anyone if I don't have to. What I want is to reach the hotel very quickly. Then I will help you, Abdullah says. He draws in a steadying breath. Boulevard de Fez will take you past many barracks. but I have not heard their alarm yet. They might still be asleep, and you might pass them as shadows amidst the night. He offers you a respectful low bow and returns to his bloody work. You return to your men. An urgent tramp of boots rises from behind you. The rattle of war gear is unmistakable. Men moving fast. Soldiers silhouetted against the lightning sky. The figure at the head of the jesters and those to either side of him take cover in pairs. Closest to them, Roberts turns and stares. I'm an American, you filled depute. The figure growls out, his carbine pointed squarely at the ground as he approaches Roberts. He smacks the private's unfired weapon aside as he stalks past. Aren't you supposed to challenge, Private? Roberts stammers out a lot of nothing. The men look your way and wait for the word with rifles ready. You're American, so am I. Advance and be recognized. Do you want to be shot? Oh well, if you're asking politely. Advance and be recognized. Oh, it's you, Lieutenant Wilson remarks. A patch of the salt is dried in his graying hair and his breath is a little short, but he doesn't seem the least bit surprised by any of this. He settles his helmet back atop his head as if it had always been there. What about giving me the proper sign and countersign? Here I thought I'd have to do this with just one platoon. Colonel Moore passed the word that you might like some help. So what's your plan? My plan? You've got more experience. You sound as if you've been here before. Didn't anybody tell you? We're instructed to assault the Hotel Miramar. Gives me verbosity +1. Right, and grab the Germans from some commission out there. Officers and orderlies, Lieutenant Wilson remarks. Let's take a look at the map. Wilson retrieves a striking aerial photograph from a pocket. This is better than any scribbling with a pen and is usually part of a battalion briefing. One corner of the photo is torn, right where the word restricted might be stamped in red. Set up. Here we go. Lieutenant Wilson says and idly flicks away a bit of salt from the map as it unrolls in the dawn light. When Sergeant Grant leans in to take a closer look, Wilson readily makes room. As I see it, we should go beachside. I figure they'll figure that the invasion hour is past and they'll lay up on the roads. I'm not saying we'll get our choice of calico, but if we go all out through town and the Frenchies get wise, we could be in for it. And swinging south is a toss-up. Before we get any further, have you seen Captain Lamb? We have to go fast through town. Thunder Run. Better to traverse the beach, slow but safe. They won't expect the southern approach. How much would you trust a local source? Let's... Central route. Have you seen Captain Lamb? Last I saw, he was getting half the company out of the drink, himself included. Wilson says Stern's boat got flipped and they had to dive to get the big stuff out. Way I figure everyone's downed a lot of salt. If that were otherwise, Lamb would be out here himself. Trust in that. How much would you trust a local source? That depends. Around here, plenty of people don't like the French. Some of the locals might side with them, though, especially if they're getting rich or getting protection. But like all people, if you look to be winning, they'll cheer you on. Do you know about Abdullah Daoud? Name sounds familiar, Lieutenant Wilson replied and gives a shrug. Common enough around here, but yeah, come to think of it, there was an Abdullah Daoud on a council of some kind. Always tried to be everyone's friend. Got me a cold beer one time, even though I never touched a drop. Joked that I should drink it for the both of us. Oh, what to do, what to do. If we move in fast through town, it looks to be that there'd be more cover. Although this tree line here could screen our approach. But who knows what we'd be running into. We kind of have to get there before they, But he does have a point, though. I think we have to get there fast. Let's go through town. Capitalize on surprise, if we still have it. If we don't have surprise, we'll know quick. But recovering from that will take time. The Frenchies will get organized soon. You can bet on that. Safe plays the north flank. Wilson says, sounding for a moment like the sergeant he once was. He might be right. I mean, if they block us here, but they could block us here, too. Wish I could see the rest of the freaking map. Now we're going straight through. Wilson gets 10 combat fatigue. And I hear you. Don't you doubt that. He folds up the map and proceeds to do exactly that. In mere minutes, both platoons are formed into columns. I might be in command, but I'll follow his lead. Only success really matters. You and Wilson may occasionally gain some XP. Wilson may suffer from some suppression. Time to learn the trade. Alright, we'll go with that one. Give the order and the men head out.
It's gonna get ugly.
Withdrawal disabled. Consider preserving your men. Quick and quiet. The Vicky squads are not prepared, and they will only slowly gather their wits until the first shots are fired. Alright. Oh, look at that. The Hotel Miramar is up here. Should have listened to the guy. Well, I got an important crossroads building. Let's see. Capture at least one objective. Oh shit. Friendly casualties between 39 and 100. 29 and 30. Okay. Alright. First platoon. So I think maybe the best bet, both of these objectives are equal distance here. He's already in the south, I'm in the north. Alright, let's get moving.
Move out!
Worrisome silhouette resolves into that of a young woman, her hair braided down the back of a voluminous robe. Go away. You watch briefly as she tends to the embers beneath an oven. When she opens the little metal door, the scent of baking bread fills the air. All right. I think these guys saw something. All right, we got a 30 cal with us. Let's have them come up more in between the squads, try and cover them. Jay is now spent. I think we can move one of our squads up. We can move a couple of the other squads up, too. Alright, let's get these guys moving here. I'm going to send... I wish this would go away. Let's put a waypoint here. Waypoint them right into cover. Oh, looks like we got some enemies here. Or something. Let's have you come down through here. Oh, I guess you can't. Hang on. Alright. I wish this would go away. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so that's Jay. Let's get Grant, or Wilson moved up.
L'honneur est exigeant!
Oh. Oh. Wilson. I think if I rally the men. No, it's bolster. Movement +2. Let's have him bolster first squad.
That's bully! Come on!
And then we'll move him. Oh, I guess we can't. Move him right up the road.
Cottonbalers, get the lead out.
I think there might be something over here. We can still move. So if we move these guys up, it's going to use his points. But I really think we gotta... No. See, because the train is cutting into my movement. And I don't want to go charging straight up the road because of these guys here. So I think I'm just going to move... Actually, let's check their line of sight. There might also be something in those sandbags. They can't see right here. I wonder if the sandbags, if there's someone in here, I wonder if they could see. Yeah, they can see right down through here. Let's take the chance. Alright, there's some bad guys there. He's got one left, so we can move. I'm going to move third squad. Up. Then we'll get you down here. And I don't believe I can move any more men. So we're going to have a squad coming up behind us, kind of in reserve. All right, we've got 2 enemy units right here in the middle. Hmm. "14 turns here. Flashes of distant naval gunfire give rise to false thunder beyond the beach. Consult my map. Keep moving. We're going to keep moving. A 40mm grenade launcher fires flare fired during training exercises." Okay. Alright, so we can kind of see him. You can kind of see down here. Can we fire suppressing fire? Yep, they're going to be surprised. We can't fire suppressing fire over here just yet. I want to get the rest of my men up here. We're going to have Jay move up. We can put you into this, but it's going to expose us to that. So I'm going to go around if I can. And then up into the house, which I can't. Right,
Careful now.
They still can't see me. But now we can get into the house. We can fire suppressed at them. Blocked. I don't want them to know I'm here just yet. And so they still can't see me. Let's have Jay move up here. Okay, and we can't do anything because Jay used up all his points, or all his orders. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, we got a machine gun squad, not good. Alright. So I'm going to end this phase now so Wilson can get the rest of his men up. I got to get this squad moved up here. Looks like there's more. Yeah, there's a machine gun squad, and that would have been a pretty bad thing to run into with no cover up here on the beach. And so far, it's nothing really in the south. Let's see. Where'd that other objective go? Huh. Alright, so I got to get that machine gun squad moved up, but I can't do that until the next turn here. And then second platoon's got to move up as well. Alright, so we're going to end this. Now we'll get Wilson. Okay. Now, if we move any more, it's going to put us... They're going to see us. But they won't see us down here. If I move Wilson and his squad... We got perfect line of sight right up there. But we can't move into that spot just yet. What's the line of sight from this one? See, that's a problem, is like partially blocked 50%, 35%, but this right there gives us good line of sight, but they'll see us too, so I'm going to have Wilson come here and then here. Shit. Well, they saw us. And they're surprised, so I wonder if I can order them to attack, charge them. They're not suppressed or anything, but they are surprised. That's going to get Wilson shot up, though. But they're going to fire on me regardless. Take him out. Charge. Okay, that didn't do anything. Which sucks. We can move you up. Can we fire on them? Failed weapons range. And these guys are right on the road. Not a good place to be. Alright, so now it's going to be them reacting to us. With Wilson out here. I wonder if this... No, because Wilson doesn't have any... They should be able to do it on their own, though. Alright, let's see what happens here. The distant gunfire... Alright. I really would like to have more than one unit here to do this. But I don't know how long I want to leave these guys sitting here. And this machine gun is going to be a problem. Speaking of which, let's get you... See, if I move up here, I don't think... Nope. Yeah. How far up am I going to have to get them to be able to do anything here? Pretty far. Farther than they can go. Alright, let's get you moved up.
Gotta stay together around here.
He can't move. Because I think he's under, yeah. Blocked line of sight. Flanked and surprised. Blocked line of sight. Can we... Alright. Let's try and... Alright. Can we assault? Too far. Okay. We can assault here, though. That would be a kind of a bad idea. I think I'm just going to suppress these guys for now. Whoops. Oh, we killed one of them. Or we killed some of them. Alright, and then you... Yeah, he's going to be... Alright, let's bolster.
Ready?
Oh shit, I just used my... Whoops. I just used my last order to bolster him. Alright. Wilson, it's your turn. Alright, bolster.
You're the 7th. Get in gear.
Hit him.
Give them hell.
Alright, they're surprised. We killed someone. Now we can't do anything else. You... We're going to be putting these guys in the line of fire, but we have to get them over here. I can only bring one of them up. Let's get them off the road. Oh, we can move up even more. Move you up one more. And that's going to do it for, let's... Alright. 12 turns left. Scent of fresh baked bread arises from somewhere close out of sight. Alright guys, I'm going to cut in right here and end the episode. All in all, this whole battle took me slightly over 2 hours to do, which is surprising considering usually after about an hour I start fiending pretty good for a cigarette, and I didn't even notice. So kudos to Greentree Games and the level of immersion that they have created here. The game does release tomorrow on Steam. There's a link down in the description below, and that's when we're going to continue this battle. Anyway, if you liked the episode, hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, tips, or advice, leave those in the comment section down below. If you want to follow along through the rest of the Burden of Command experience, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you for part number 3. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a very good day.